Welcome to Kier's Kingdom Connection, featuring my dad, Reggie Key, and
my dad, Kier Hopkins Smith.
Oh, my man.
What you do, man?
Reggie Key, Kier's
Kingdom Connection.
Man, we've been on hiatus a little bit. Just a little bit.
It's just, we just missed 1 week, I think.
No, we missed 2 weeks.
Oh, snap. I done got blipped. Been lost track of time. Like,
I am inevitable.
Right.
Yeah, this has been a couple weeks, man. But no, this is good, man. I'm glad to be back. I've been missing our 4K conversations.
We spent some time talking, we talked like an hour before we even got on, man.
Yeah, we did.
That worked out, though, because I had put some lotion on my hands, and if we had dapped up too quick, I done slipped off, that would have been a problem. It's good now.
You said we've been hydroplaning all over the place, huh?
Yeah.
That's what's up. All right, so today, I want us to kind of have a discussion. So I saw a guy with a shirt on. I love good shirts with great sayings, and but I thought that it was really, really good. And I don't know if you all be able to see it in the screen. Yeah, you might be able to see it in the screen. Yeah, but it says, "Discover your divine design." I was like, yo, that's dope.
Yeah.
Because that gets into some stuff. Actually, it first addresses a major question. I know you've heard it. God, what's my purpose here on earth?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And God, I'm guilty of it. I spent years just struggling with it. I mean, even recently, I've talked to Reggie, and he helped me out with when it came to your interview concerning your genius interview, and just helping to bring out the genius, right, and be able to see it better. Because a lot of times we're struggling to know it, to learn it, and we want it. We don't want to just spin our wheels, but we find ourselves spinning our wheels consistently and constantly. So now let's look at how we discover a divine design.
Well, first and foremost, before we get into that, why are we spinning our wheels? And I feel like this is a part of the rat race. The rat race has told us in this great capitalist America country that we live in that, hey, you need to plug into something.
Make me have to drink some water from now on.
You got to plug into something and be a part of something where you're building. But most of the time, you're helping somebody else build, and you're compensated for it. So I almost see spinning your wheel as spending your wheel, spending your wheelhouse, so to speak.
God.
Right, where whatever your wheelhouse is, you're not putting it back towards yourself in a true sense of being an entrepreneur, but you are helping someone else build. And for a season, there's nothing wrong with it. The Bible even says, "How can I trust you with your own if I can't entrust you with another man's vision?" Right? It doesn't use the word vision, but that's basically what it's saying. And so, I remember talking to a young lady a long time ago. She was in college. I was working at Columbia College in Illinois, and I was telling her, she was like, "Well, I'm an entrepreneur." I'm like, "But do you know? Are you going to school for that?" "No." "All right, what business have you started?" "None." "Well, I don't want to work for nobody." And I was like, I understand that, but if you're not blessed naturally with this understanding of how to start something, because some people are, and if you're not going to school for it, you have to work underneath somebody, but with a goal in mind, to glean, how do I do this? And then when you feel like you have all that you need, then you can go and start your own thing.
Gotcha.
And I think a lot of times, then once we get into this gleaning stage long enough, we just get so comfortable that we forget what our actual divine design is. We want to put on the earth to multiply somebody else's stuff. Oh
my God.
We were put on the earth to multiply, be fruitful, replenish what God has put on the inside of us.
Of you.
And then not for our own sake, though we do benefit from it, it's for the sake of subduing the earth.
That's right.
For the purposes of advancing the kingdom of God.
You just said a whole mouthful.
I didn't mean so.
Right there, my friend. A whole mouthful right there. And as you said, man, I love this. I love the idea of it, and I love the discussion. And I love having this discussion with you because I know this to be one of your nines. And it's an area that God has blessed you with to be able to discover, to cultivate this, and to pull this out so it's not a badge of shame. No, bro, you carry it as a badge of honor, of something that God has blessed you with, to help others to be able to discover, to see it. Because sometimes it can literally be a blind spot.
It is.
Right? Be a blind spot.
Far too often.
Too often it's a blind spot. And we want to reveal that you have been created by the Creator. And you have to know this within your own heart when it comes to your divine design. That there is a designer who did not have to have one mold to make billions of people.
Right. In fact, because, I don't know if we say a lot of stuff, but I don't know if we really understand what it means. In fact, he took that mold after he made you and broke it so that he could never make it again.
Never make it again. Right? Never make it again. And we'll receive it to a degree, but then we won't receive it in its fullness. Like everyone receives that every person has a different fingerprint.
Yeah.
We'll receive that. We'll be like, oh, okay, we'll accept that truth. But then you won't accept that if no two people have the same fingerprint, that literally means that you are a unique design. Mm-hmm. And there is no other purpose. Right? For a purpose.
Destiny.
Yes.
That doesn't mean that, our destinies can't
intertwine and interact.
Ours has interacted. I came out here 2.5 years ago and immediately. Yeah. Right. We were intertwined because we have this kingdom understanding and we have this kingdom kinship.
Yes.
I like to call it. But you do a thing in this kitchen that I cannot do. I know how to cook.
Yeah, you know how to cook.
But you know how
you can make a great cake.
Yeah. That's not from scratch though. Like
I'm scratch though, but do make a bomb cake though. And I hear you. But that's it. It's God has put a piece of him in every single person.
Facts.
But he did not put all of him in every person. This is interesting because it's a piece of him that he put in you, and there's a piece of him he put in me.
Are you trying to make me go into my whole?
Come on, man. And listen, look. This is
trying to be
look. I know, but this is me over here like, hey, my bro.
You trying to lob it. You get the half court lob, like there you go. Don't get me.
Hey, but this is your wheelhouse though. But this is your wheelhouse because too many of us will spend years, and I use the word spend on purpose because it's not an investment of years. It's a spending of years. We will spend and waste years of our lives, wasted with not walking in a divine design, right? Mm-hmm. We'll walk in divine shadows of others.
Oh yeah, because it's cool.
Bruh. And it blocks us from the light, but we'll walk in shadows. We'll feel like I gotta be like my parents, or I gotta be like, somebody in my family. I gotta be like a teacher. I have to be like, and we'll have a whole bunch of be likes. And instead of looking to the designer,
like Mike,
and asking him, why did you design me?
Yeah.
What was your purpose? And we love it for kids, throwing out the quote, the scripture in Psalms, that you were fearfully and wonderfully made.
That your soul knows.
Right? Well. Yeah. And we'll throw it out there. And
we actually don't throw out the last part.
That's true. We don't.
And that's the part that we're getting at. And your soul knows. Your soul knows. Right well.
Come on.
Your soul got to know it. Your inner being has to know it. So that when somebody else tries to come along and say, yeah, you should be this. Especially, black males. Oh, we get told all the time. I put a meme out there that said, you know what? Instead of saying, next time you see a tall black boy, instead of telling him he's going to be a great ball player, how'd you tell him he's going to be a great engineer?
That's right.
A designer.
That's
a
right.
doctor.
Come on.
But we project things into people that deny them their divine destiny just to make our world make sense.
Yeah. Bro, okay. So you said that. I had a preacher once I listened to, and it was great. He says, this is how intricate God is going to be with what he designed us. He says, now this is just him doing a fantasy thought process. So he says, and we all going to go before Christ, and we're all going to stand before this great judgment seat. And he says, you're going to have a line full of people. And God himself, Jesus Christ, is going to say, I need Peter such and such. And he gave a last name. He was like, Peter such and such, the engineer. And Peter such and such is going to stand there and he's not going to move. And he's going to say, Peter such and such, the engineer, step forward.
Yeah.
And the person is going to reluctantly step forward and was like, Lord, I'm Peter such and such, but I'm not an engineer. And the Lord was like, well, that's what I designed you to be. Yeah. And it was like, but Lord, I became a pilot. The Lord was like, didn't design you to be a pilot. I designed you to be an engineer. So not that God's denying him access into heaven, but because the Lord knew what he desired us to be when he formed us, before he formed us in our mother's womb, he says, I knew you, right? And we don't go into, God, why did you discover? So now we have to, we don't have time, but we're going to look into some things that you talked about when it comes to discovering your genius and looking at the proclivities. You're going to look. Y'all don't see me. I'm
You gonna put
listen.
Okay. All right.
Look,
I got 5 minutes to try to put my life's work.
come on,
On the
baby.
inside of
Yeah,
this thing,
just
but
give him
no.
a taste. Give him a taste. Just salt bed real quick.
Sprinkle?
Yeah.
I don't know if I can, but I can do it because I've been asked to do this in so many different times and time frames. But God gave me a thing a couple of years ago. I came across a friend of mine who was doing this branding where he was like, you know what, we got to remove this genius word from the elite and make sure that everybody knows that they have access to genius. And it's not, genius is more than being like, you know, the next Einstein or Elon Musk or Stephen Hawking. That's great. They're genius in their own right, but we should never define our genius by theirs. Because most of the time if we do that, we're going to end up saying, well, I don't have it. I don't think that the way he thinks, right? So he came up with this brand, Genius is Common. Bruce George, shout out. And what we ended up doing was, for me, I was like, what do you want me to do with this? He was like, man, he's in New York. He was like, just take it to the Midwest. I was living in Illinois at the time. He was like, just spread the word. And what the Lord ended up doing was, he was like, I'm going to show you genius in 3 components: passion, talent, and purpose. I said, okay. And he had told me, he had already had me read some books to kind of wrap my mind around it. For years, I had been going to Matthew 25, talking to youth about the talents, right?
Yep.
The service was 5, 2, and 1 talent. And what I would always warn them on was, don't be that servant that puts his talent in the earth. Because in truth, it's not his talent. It was the king's talent. The thing that God has put on the inside of us, he's put a lot of things on the inside of us.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the talent, it's not even ours.
Right.
It's just something that he's invested in us.
Come on.
There's your word.
Come on.
He's invested something in us that's his. And he's like, give me a return on my investment. Well, how do you get a return? And this is the thing I couldn't tell. I was like, I prayed. I was like, Lord, don't let none of these kids ask me, how do you get a return? Because back in the day, I didn't know.
Okay.
I was just telling them, don't put it in the ground. Just don't do that. Don't take your talent and put it in the earth for you to eat off of, because that's not what the world wants you to do that.
Right.
Because, this is something I ain't never said before. You ready to hear something I
Yep.
never
Come
said
on,
before?
say it.
When you put God's talent in the earth belongs to the prince of the air. He'll just snatch the talent and be like, thank you.
Thank you.
Wow. Never said that before. Anyways, 2 minutes. So the Lord finally showed me, like, here's how you multiply talent.
Yeah.
Here's how you go back to the mandate that I gave everybody, starting with Adam, by saying, be fruitful, multiply, and replenish. He said, when you begin to show other people what your talent is and how you begin to be fruitful with it, you're also like giving them permission to study themselves, search themselves, and figure out what it is that's in you, that's in them.
Yeah.
And so if everybody's doing this, then my talent and your talent aren't the same. But when there's another writer in the room and they see me coming out with books, they're like, how'd you do that?
Yeah.
And I won't be selfish and go, I don't know, I can't tell you like this.
Right.
I'd be like, let me show you how.
Let me show you.
That's why I'm a publisher. You have taught plenty of people how to cook, right? Because that's what's on the inside of you. And some people will appreciate it, some people will pay you for it, but then there's the one who'll be like, you know what? There's a cook on the inside of me too.
Yeah.
There's a grill master on the inside of me too. Can you show me how you did that? And you'd be like, you know what? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because you realize that my goal is if I hoard a thing, especially if it's something that God has given me, that's not how I get the most out of it. Because when you put a seed in the ground, you literally give that seed away.
Yeah.
But you get it back.
Come on.
Because it's multiplied. Woo. Now, this is just talking about the talent though. Like when you get into your genius,
Yeah.
what the Bible calls the mind of Christ in
Yep.
1 Corinthians 2:16.
Yep.
The passion part is the new piece. The passion part begins to say, all right, there's something about this world that I just don't like. I use the word hate.
Yeah.
And I use the word hate because it's strong enough to get people's attention.
Yes, it is.
Especially kids.
Yep.
Because kids will tell you in a second what they hate.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yep.
And so I get into this thing, don't tell me who you hate. Don't put a name on it. But tell me what you hate. And the thing that a lot of people will begin to speak about is the thing that has traumatized them. Because brokenness traumatizes.
Yes, it does.
And the world is broken.
Yes, it does.
When we see that trauma, when we experience that trauma, we then get to a place where we're like, I don't want to ever see this hurt me or anyone else again.
Yeah.
And so now it's like, all right, so if I'm put on the planet to address this brokenness that has traumatized me, what do I do?
Yeah.
And so I tell people really quickly, like, if you come across something that's broken in your house, the first thing you look for is a tool to know how to fix it. Well, T for tool, T for talent.
Yeah.
Your purpose in life is to discover what God has put in your hand. And most of the time, your talent is generational.
Come on.
This is how you can be in the shadow, but still not be of your parents, because though the talent may be generational in your lineage, your passion is going to be different from your parents.
It's going to be different.
It can be the same, but even if it's the same, it manifests different because you're unique from them.
That's right.
And so once you identify, once you're David and you say, this is my tool. My tool is this slingshot.
Come on.
My tool isn't the armor that Saul tried to put on me.
Come on, bro.
That's going to get me killed if I go out there, because that's not meant for me. That was that was custom made for the king.
Made for the king.
I'm a king, but I ain't Saul.
Yes.
So knowing, I'm not going to take what somebody else says I should pick up. I know, and you got to know this by getting in the Word, because once your soul knows right well, once the Word begins to speak, it'll reveal some things. This is my tool to address the brokenness in the world, and in doing so, I've unlocked my genius. I've unlocked my divine design. I can now walk in my destiny because I fulfilled my purpose of what is my God-given talent. What is the thing that He's broken my heart for, which breaks His heart? That He put me on the planet specifically to address and fix.
Hey, listen. I'm Scottie Pippen. He Michael Jordan. That's all I did.
Well, in this particular vein, like I said, we get out there in the grill match, it flipped completely. I get on that grill, like, what you need, bro? Like, I'm a... And you know, the thing that this drives me so much, because I mean, labels are something that really work against us if it's not defining who we are, because we don't know who we are. When somebody puts a label on us that's not addressing our non-academic or our academic genius, we'll acquiesce and we'll shrink down and go I guess that is all I'm supposed to be.
Right.
I'm a black man. All I can be is an athlete or an entertainer. Right? Or a thug. Nah, there's more to me than that. Yeah. There's more to you.
So much more.
And I say this all the time. I feel like the Sixth Sense. The little boy was like, I see dead. But I see around me that what I see around me is dying genius, though.
Yeah.
Because if you're not in your element, which is defined by your passion, and you're someplace else, that is a form of death.
Yes. Because
you're not walking out your purpose that God created you for.
That's right.
And so I'm always looking, I'm like, oh, if they just put this and that together, like, oh, they'll be in it.
They'll be in it.
Or I recognize when somebody is walking in it, and I'm like, ooh, I see it, though, because I hear them say it, but they don't realize the breadth of what they're saying and how they're operating in it, and I just come in and just be like, just turn this,
just tweak that just
a little bit so you can see it for real.
You can see it for real.
And be more intentional about what you're releasing into the world.
That's it.
So
no, bro, you didn't say plenty to at least get us started in this vein of the discovering of your divine design. And as you're speaking on it, bro, one of the things that really stuck out, and I just was thinking in my spirit, is there's a quote. I can't tell you who said it, but I heard it, and it says, "Any fool can tell you how many seeds are in an apple, but only God can tell you how many apples is in the seeds."
I'm sorry, I knew he was doing. I forgot that he told me that. That's such a dope quote. I'm sorry, I distracted everybody because I threw my whole placemat. Can you say it again, please, without this brother next to you distracting me?
But this quote said, it said, any fool can count how many seeds are in an apple, but only God knows how many apples are in a seed. And bruh, that just so lines up with what you have spoken over concerning that genius, and being able to unlock it, right? And being able to not be labeled, to walk in a passion. And we can look at the seed and be like, oh, that's how many is in the apple. But until that thing is sown appropriately, you have no idea what can grow out of it, right? What God can do. And as you said, you're like, oh, you tweak. And here's another one. My wife gave
I don't
me
have
this
nothing
one.
else to throw, man.
I
so
know,
you can't-
I know. My wife gave me this one, and I'm sure somebody else said it, but it's okay because all Holy Ghost gives all the quotes anyway.
Yep.
But a weed is simply a flower that is someplace it ain't supposed to be.
Huh.
A lot of times we'll classify certain greenery as a weed. Actually, it's just not where it's supposed to be. If I have a bed of tulips and a rose grows up in the bed of tulips,
Oh, stop it.
the rose is a weed
Stop it.
because it's growing where it's not supposed to.
You know, that reminds me of in our other house in Illinois. I remember, I was starting to learn how to maintenance stuff on the outside, and I saw this beautiful plant begin to grow in the bed in the front. I'm like, oh, that's nice, like that's cool. And it took me a while before I realized. Before it was like 2 feet tall, I'm like, that's a weed. But it was so, and I felt really bad taking this thing out and basically killing it.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's flourishing though.
Yeah.
And it's so robust.
Yeah.
But I'm like, bro, you're in the wrong place.
You're in the wrong place.
I can't have you here.
Yeah. And I mean, if you saw a field of dandelions, it's beautiful to see a field of dandelions. That yellow is ridiculous. It's like a wave in the sea. But let a dandelion grow up in your garden.
Oh no, I'm torching it.
Right?
Yep.
It's gone.
Mhm.
Why? It's a weed. It's growing where it's supposed to.
That's good.
And just as you were talking, man, so many times we, through life, through traumas, can find ourselves where we're planted somewhere we're not supposed to. And because we're surrounded by things where that trauma told us we belong here.
Oh, now you speaking.
Right? And our trauma, our issues, our baggages have told us, no, you belong right here. And it's like, nope, actually, if you were to be replanted, pulled up at the root, replanted and put with elements that are just like you, or at least where you will thrive, you'll see that you'll begin to grow.
Yeah.
Right? And so, bro, that's so good, man. I love this.
Divine design.
Hey, discovering your divine design. And we got more, because I know this brother right here. I'm just listening. I'm just going, because I know what's in him. I know what's in him, and I know it'd be itching on him. But we just want to give y'all this, and we want to be a blessing. This is Kier and Kier's Kingdom Connection, right? And once again, listen, you guys know what to do. If it blesses you, share it with somebody, like it, all right? Subscribe to both Manu Forti Ministries, also to Power My Testimony. You can find us on YouTube. And all we are here to do is to be a blessing.
We on Facebook too, though.
And we on Facebook. You're right. We're on Facebook. I'm
Meta.
on Instagram as well. I haven't posted anything on Instagram for my Power My Testimony just yet. I got to get on that. I got to get on that. Yeah. I got to get on that. But this is what we're here for. Just be a blessing. I love this brother right here. I'm thankful for our divine connection.
Yes, sir.
Because he has helped me to understand better my design and be able to not feel so closed off. And we need our Jonathans in our life. We need those Davids. We need the people who God has connected us with to help to bring these things, to pass. And so I appreciate you, man, and I love you, and I thank you.
Hey, man, you like to collect vows, right?
Yeah, man.
I mean, for cooking purposes. You ain't just out there cutting coats like for no reason. But iron sharpens iron.
So does a man sharpen the countenance of his friend? And that's the inside showing through your face. And I love that.
Yes, sir.
We sharpen each other internally. Right on, man.
There it is.
Oh,
snap! That was lovely.
Oh,
That one for the ages. Talking about the blip from the beginning. I think we blipped somebody. I think like he ain't as powerful as Thanos. I think a quarter of somebody just got wiped out.
You said it just happened.
I hope y'all still there.
Jeez, that was good.
All right.
Blessings to y'all.